I was that guy who always had an excuse lined up for why life wasn't going my way. Didn't get the grade I hoped for. It must have been the professor who had something against me. Didn't land that job. It was clearly the broken hiring system. I never thought it was on me. And honestly, in the short term, it felt nice. Believing that your failures are caused by the world and not by you can be a very comfortable feeling. But there was one problem. This way of thinking guaranteed that I kept failing. Because if I wasn't the one responsible for the situation, then there's nothing I can do to change that outcome. I was basically now handing over the remote control of my life to external circumstances. Once I started thinking this way, my effort levels dropped. I became a chronic procrastinator, chased short-term highs, spiraled into depression, and my mental health took a dive. But the good news is that version of me is gone. Fast forward to 2025. I've now worked as a software engineer at Fortune 500 companies, graduated among the top students in both my bachelor's and master's program. I have become someone who is focused, disciplined, and consistent. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a few mindset shifts and techniques that help me stop making excuses and become radically disciplined. So let's get right into it. The foundation of real discipline starts with one thing. Take full ownership of your life. This does not mean that you tear yourself down for every mistake that you make. It means to genuinely accept that wherever you are in life, no matter how bad it looks, you were the one that drove yourself there. And I know this might be a tough pill to swallow, but here's the upside. If you are the one that drove yourself into that ditch, then guess what? You are also the one that possesses the power to drive yourself out of it. Having this mindset puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. Once you internalize this mindset, everything changes. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And instead start asking, how do I fix it? What can I learn from this? How are others handling it better? Take someone who's overweight and addicted to fast food. In one scenario, they blame their genetics, their metabolism, a thyroid condition. Whereas in another scenario, they actually blame their poor eating habits, lack of structure, and they understand that they have made bad choices. Not in a self-hating way, but in a clear, constructive way. In the first scenario, that obese person is just going to shut off his brain to any potential solution because they think that the situation is out of their hands. So they are stuck there perpetually. In the second scenario, however, that person is open to all potential solutions. They might try various different diets, various different exercise plans before something begins to work for them. They achieved these results because they kept looking for solutions and had the mindset that the situation was under their control. I know some people are going to push back on this and say that, what about people who are actually born in difficult circumstances? What about childhood trauma? What about poverty? I actually admit that life can be unbelievably unfair, but I believe that even in those circumstances, owning your path is the most effective strategy that you have. You might have disadvantages in life, you might have bad genetics, but the only way forward is to play the best that you can. There's a quote that I've really come to appreciate. If it rains outside, it is my fault. And obviously you don't take this quote literally because you have no control over the weather, but the mindset behind that quote promotes absolute accountability, and that is power. Back in the day, I would make all these big declarations that I'm waking up at 5 a.m., I'm eating healthy food, I'm working out daily, and for a few days I would actually follow this routine. But then came the cracks. I would be out with my friends at fast food spots and I would think to myself that one bite is not going to hurt. Or I would stay up late at night watching football and think to myself that delaying your sleep by 1 hour isn't going to be all that bad. But the moment that I started bending these rules, those rules lost their authority. They stopped feeling like they were sacred. And deep down, I felt guilty. I knew that I had cheated. And this sort of eventually snowballed into me completely abandoning all structure from life. Now I hold my self-created rules in a different regard. If I say that I go to bed at 9 p.m., that means 9 p.m. Not 9:05, not 9:10. Having that kind of respect for your rules is rare, but it is powerful. And some of you might think that my approach is a bit too extreme, but I have personally found it way easier to fully commit to life rather than have this half-assed moderation-based approach. Going all in something gives you a sense of purpose and gives you this momentum. And when you stop cutting corners, you build a sense of self-respect and you feel unstoppable. In the 21st century, most things around you are designed to make you mentally weak and keep you hooked to instant pleasure. From things like porn, doom scrolling, video games, all the way to actual consumable things like weed, cigarettes, alcohol. And it's only going to get worse as technology advances and figures out new and powerful ways to stimulate the human mind. If you're someone who's trapped in this mess, you're addicted to things, you don't really know how to break free from them, you've been relapsing over and over again, then I have some news for you. I have designed a program that allows you to win back control over yourself and break free from the chains of these bad habits. This program has been developed using my own personal experience of being hooked to these bad behaviors for over 20 years of my life, and also having helped dozens of men overcome these addictions. So check out the link in the description to find out more about it. I would mess up on an exam and then I would think that, damn, I wish I had focused harder while I was giving that test. Or I would wake up late one morning and I would think that, damn, I wish I had the motivation to just get up. But the thing is, those outcomes were not the real failures. The actual failures probably happened weeks before, when I hadn't designed a study schedule for that test, or when I stayed up till 2 a.m. binge watching Netflix the night before I was supposed to wake up early. The real mistakes are usually not in the moment, but in the setup. And once you understand this philosophy of true failure before the outcome-based failure, then you begin to design your rules a bit differently. I no longer set rules like I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. That is an outcome-based rule. Now the rule that I have is that I am going to be in bed by 9 p.m. This targets the true point of failure, the root cause. What you can do is make a list of all the repeatedly occurring problems in your life. Missed deadlines, failed habits, broken routines. Now trace them back to their actual points of failures. You probably find that you failed at these things days, weeks, months, or even years ago. Fixing problems at their roots is way easier than trying to fix a thing in the final moments. It's easier to avoid going to the fast food place than it is to say no to a burger that's right in front of you. Once you've taken ownership of your life, stopped cutting corners, and identified the true causes of failures, it is now time to make some real specific changes to your life. So make sure that you watch this video to learn how to do just that.